So today we deal with your next chapter, that is solution. So we have already done with your surface chemistry, and there we have learned regarding the concept of the properties of matter or the classification of matter, which goes with the true solution, suspension as well as colloidal solution based on the size of the particle. So today we will be learning a new concept, that is solution. There you have learned regarding the concept of colloidal solution. Here you will be learning the concept of solution. So total 7 marks of questions will come from this lesson. Okay, solution. So now we will go with the introduction of solution. Solution means what? It is nothing but it is a homogeneous mixture. Okay, so clear solution you are going to get when you will see. Okay, so it will be clear in nature. So we can say it is a homogeneous mixture of two or more components. When two or more components, when it will be mixed, then you are going to get homogeneous mixture. So that mixture we are going to consider as solution. So solution, under that we can go with the pure substance as well as mixture. Pure substance are like, it is purely in nature, like elements, okay, all those will come. So when it goes with the mixture in the sense when these components were mixed together, by that time we are going to get a mixture. So that mixture we are going to call it as a solution. So now in the solution, if you consider, that will be having same kind of composition. So for example, if I have a solution in a beaker, in the sense whatever the components are present, okay, so that components are uniformly distributed, that composition will be same throughout the solution. So any particular molecule if you take, so that what kind of property it shows, the same kind of property will be shown by other elements also, which is present in the same solution. So here composition as well as properties are uniformly distributed throughout the solution, then you are going to consider as that kind of mixture as solution. Now, it will be having two phases. How we have seen in colloidal solution, okay, so two phases, dispersed phase and dispersion medium. Here also it is having two phases. So that phase is nothing but one will be considered as solute, another will be considered as solvent. So when the solute and solvent will be mixed together, so that you will get a solution. So solute is nothing but there the concentration of the particle will be less in nature. Solvent, if we will consider, the concentration of the particle will be more in nature. So that will be considered as solvent. So when these two phases will combine, you are going to get a binary component. If only two phases are present, then it will be considered as binary component. If three phases are present, for example, sometime what will happen, solute concentration, the solute will be more in amount, okay, so more different kinds of solute you are going to use. So then we are going to call either tertiary or primary compound. If it more than that, in a sense 4 solute if you are using, in the sense 4 phases are present in the sense, then you are going to call it as quaternary. Okay, so this is regarding your phases. So in this chapter, generally you will be learning regarding only with the binary components, where you will be having one with solute as well as solvent. Okay, so remember with this concept. Next we will go with the types of solution. So mainly the types of solution we are going to find by finding or identifying the solvent. Okay, so if the solvent is gas, then we can say that type is gaseous solution. If your solvent is liquid, then we can say it is liquid solution. So this table, you learn it properly, so it can be asked for 1 mark. This table is asked for 1 mark, in the sense they can ask some examples they give, and they'll ask you to write what kind or what type of solution it is. Or by giving this, they can ask you to give example also. So simple example I have given, so that easy to remember. So now we'll go with the type of solution. The first type will be considered as gaseous solution. Why it will be called as gaseous solution? Because your solvent is gaseous in nature. Okay. Now, if your solute is solid, solvent is gaseous form, okay, then it will be considered as gaseous solution. Example for this, camphor in nitrogen. Camphor is solid form as well as nitrogen is gaseous form. So camphor will disperse in nitrogen. So this is solid gas. Next gaseous solution, another type is liquid, and the solvent will be gas. So solute is liquid, solvent is gas. So example, chloroform, which is liquid in state, and it will be dispersed in nitrogen with the gaseous form. And one more, gaseous in gaseous form. In the sense, gas is a solute as well as solvent also gaseous form. So we can say example oxygen, okay, which is in less concentration, that will disperse in large concentration quantity, or nitrogen. Okay, so this is example for gaseous solution. How you can identify it is the type is called as gaseous solution because solvent is gas. Okay, so mainly depends on the solvent. Next, second type is considered as liquid solution. So how can you name this as liquid solution based on the solvent? If you will take solvent as liquid, then that type of solution will be considered as liquid solution. So it can combine, this liquid can combine with solid, liquid as well as gas. Based on that, examples I have given. If solid is solute, liquid is a solvent, then you can get this is an example. Glucose is solid in nature, concentration will take it less, and dispersed in water, liquid. Now liquid is solute, that is nothing but ethanol. Okay, again solvent you take it as liquid, it should be dispersed in water. So ethanol in water. Same thing, gas in liquid medium. So it is oxygen in water. Next you go for solid solution, next type of solution, because your solvent is solid in nature. So it can react with solid, liquid as well as gas. Based on that, examples I have given. Now if both are solid in nature, solute as well as solvent, both are solid in nature, then it is solid solution. Examples, copper in gold, both are solid in nature. Okay, so formation of alloys generally takes place with this. Okay, so next one is liquid in solid medium. So mercury is in liquid form, will get dispersed in sodium. Sodium is nothing but solid form. Again, gas in solid medium, so that goes with hydrogen. Hydrogen gas will be dispersed in palladium. So any one of the example they can give, and they may ask to write with the type. Okay, so by then you should remember, or you should identify what is a solvent. Okay, consider the solvent, then it is easy to identify what kind of or what type of solution it is. So next we will go with concentration of the solution. So next we are continuing with expressing concentration of solution. Okay, now expressing concentration of the solution in the sense on what percent or dilute or quantity. In the sense, generally while expressing the concentration of any kind of solution, generally it goes with the two methods. One, it goes with a qualitative method, and another it goes with a quantitative method. So qualitative if you will take, in the sense when you are checking with the quality of the compound, by that time, generally you go with either the solution is dilute solution or solution is concentrated solution. Okay, concentration of the particular substance or the solute, it will be less. If it is less in the sense, then it will be considered as dilute. If it is more in the sense, you are going to consider as concentrated solution. So while expressing the concentration, two methods, one is qualitative and another is quantitative. So qualitative in the sense quality you are going to represent whether the solution is dilute or concentrated, that you are representing. Another method, that is nothing but quantitative method, when you are just checking, by that time you are going to deal with the percentage of that compound which is present in the solution, that you are going to check. In the sense concentration, how much concentration is present in the solution, that you are checking. Because every time when we will deal, okay, generally, naturally when we will talk, by that time we won't say the solution is dilute solution, concentrated solution, no. We'll say in terms of percentage. For example, 35% of ethylene glycol is used in car for cleaning. Okay, cooling off engine will be done by 35% of ethylene glycol. Whether we'll say with the dilute or concentrated, and how we can say it is only with the 35% of ethylene glycol, how we are going to prepare that 35% of ethylene glycol, all those things will be expressed under the topic of concentration of solution. So one by one we will see. This concept is very important. Okay, so they can ask the term as well as formula they can ask, and after this they are going to deal with some of the problem also for mode fraction data. So that is also very important under this chapter for state as well as CBSE. Okay, so the first concentration term that will deal with the mass percentage. So before we'll go with the concentration term. See, as I told, solution it is nothing but it is a mixture of solute and it should have solvent, right? It should have solute as well as solvent. So generally we'll just represent with the solute as well as solvent over here. So here we'll just represent A your solvent as well as B as your solid. Okay, in this chapter, whenever we represent A and B, so remember A will just represent as solvent and B will just represent as solute. So A is solvent, B is solute. Remember like that, because whenever you go with the formula, by that time instead of writing complete statement, by that time you can write in terms of this also. Okay, so how it will be written, that I will show you. So remember, solute will represent B and solvent will just represent as A. So first we will go with the mass percentage. What is meant by mass percentage? So mass percentage is nothing but mass of the component. So it is a ratio of mass of the component in the solution divided by total mass of the solution into, because you are finding percentage, multiplied by 100. So it goes with mass of the component in the solution divided by total mass of the solution into 100. For example, in this, okay, you want to find out mass percentage of solid. Okay, so mass percentage of solvent you want to find out, percentage of solid, I will say that's A. Mass percentage of solvent you want to find. So how it can be find? Mass of the component in the solution. Which component you have taken? A now. So mass of the solution in the sense that it comes as WA. W represents mass. Okay. So mass of the component in the solution divided by total mass of the solution. Total mass is nothing but it is having component A as well as B in the solution. Solution is having solute as well as solvent. So you can write as WA plus WB into 100. So this is the form of writing. If you want to find out mass percentage of solute B, by that how the formula will come? Mass percentage of B is equal to WB. Okay, mass of the solute will come divided by WA plus WB. That is nothing but total mass of the solution into 100. For example, now 10% of glucose in water. So what does it indicate? 10% of glucose in water. Generally when we will take the solution, we will take with 100 gram of solution. Okay, so we will take with 100 gram of solution. Now what we are saying, 10% of glucose is present. So it means that 10 gram of glucose dissolved in some amount to get 100. So what will be the solvent amount now? Okay, so 10 is solute, then 90 gram is solute. So that when you add, you will get 100. If you want, check with the problem. So now I will just represent, I want to find out, I don't know, percentage of glucose. Okay. So now 10 divided by, okay, 10 divided by, so 10 plus 90 into 100. So 100 into 100, okay, it will get cancelled. So what is remaining? 10. So that is the answer. So 10% of glucose, in the sense, whenever they say in terms of percentage, so that is a particular gram in 100 gram of the solution. Okay, so that is a particular gram in 100 gram of solution. So this is regarding mass percentage. Next we will go for volume percentage. Mass, you know for what it will be as. If it is there with a liquid medium, then you are supposed to go with a volume content. So volume percentage is nothing but same formula, just represent in terms of volume, that's it. So here it comes as volume of the component divided by total volume of the solution into 100. For example, now you have solute as well as solvent. Okay, consider solute as well as solvent, which is there with a liquid medium. Now you want to find out volume percentage of A. When you are finding volume percentage of A, how the formula will come? Volume of the component. And this is this component. So it comes as WA divided by total volume of the solution. Okay, total volume of the solution is as it will have this as well as this. So it comes as it goes with the V. Why? Because we are dealing with the volume. So VA divided by VA plus VB, volume of solvent as well as solute into 100. Example, 10% of ethanol in water. So what does it mean? 10% of ethanol, in a sense 10 gram of ethanol in how many grams of water? It goes with 90 gram of water to get 100 gram of solution. Okay, so just substitute, you will get again 10% volume of A, that you will get it as 10%. Or if you are checking the volume of B, that comes with 10%. Okay, so now here this is nothing but solute, right? So it goes with B. Okay, so So some other example, just now before explaining I have given the example of ethylene glycol which goes with a 35%. So how it comes? So 35 gram of ethylene glycol has been dissolved in the solvent. Okay, some amount of the solvent will be there to get 100 gram of solution. Okay, so how it comes? So 35 in the sense 65 gram of solvent will be there. So solute and solvent when it mix you will get solution which is level 100, complete 100 gram. Okay, so this is just one example I have given where you can explain volume percentage. So if you understood mass percentage as well as volume percentage, the next concept is that is mass by volume percentage. So mass by volume percentage we are going to represent by mass by volume. So it goes with the same formula. Substitute here why it will be utilized. See, it goes with the mass of solute dissolved in 100 ml of solution. Okay, mass of solute dissolved in 100 ml of the solution. The same thing. As it goes here 100 gram of the solution, here it goes with 100 ml of the solution. In terms of milliliter we have written, that's it. Okay, so mass by volume, this kind of formula where they use to find out, in a sense, medicines when they prepare in paramedical industries and all. By that time they will use the same concentration, same formula they will use, and they will check with the percentage that how much percentage of that solution they have to prepare. Okay. The next one, that is fourth part, it will be considered as parts per million. So this can be asked for 1 mark. If they are asked with the examples, that considered with the 2 mark. So why we are mentioning with parts per million, or why we are going with parts per million? If the solute concentration is very less, okay. So concentration of the solute, if it is present in terms of traces, in a sense less concentration, by that time we are supposed to calculate in terms of parts per million, ppm. You might have observed it. Last year you might have seen ppm concept, that is nothing but parts per million. Now how we are going to find parts per million? So that formula it goes like this: mass of one component divided by mass of all the component into 10 to the power 6. Parts per million will be represented in terms of 10 to the power 6, measured in terms of 10 to the power 6. So formula it goes like mass of one component divided by mass of all the component. So if you are finding ppm, parts per million, for your solute, by that time how it comes? Formula, that is mass is nothing but WB divided by mass of one component. Which component you want to find out? The same component you are supposed to take it to. So divided by mass of all the components, in the sense you should take solute as well as solvent. So you can take solvent as well as solute into 10 to the power 6. Okay, so if you measure in this term, you will get the answer. So this will be used to measure the concentration of the pollutants in water, or concentration of solute in atmosphere also. It will be measured when that traces or the concentration of the solute will be less. Okay, so only by that we are going to deal with parts per million. So the next one is mole fraction, which will be denoted by small x. Okay, so this concept is very important. So under this concept, problem can be asked. So now what is meant by mole fraction? So mole fraction is nothing but number of moles of particular component. Particular component in the sense which component mole fraction you want to find, either solute or solvent. So that will be considered over here. So number of moles you have to find it, N you have to find it. So number of moles of particular component divided by total number of moles of all the component in the sense solute as well as solvent. So total number of moles you are supposed to find. For example, you have A as well as B, right? Solute as well as solvent, right? So this is solvent and this is solute. So now mole fraction of this you can represent as x of A. So mole fraction of A, and this you can represent as x of B, mole fraction of B. So now if you want to find out the mole fraction of A in the sense solvent, by that the formula comes as number of moles of A component divided by total number of moles of all the components, that is Na plus Nb. Same thing it goes with your another substance also, solute is there, right? So the solute if you are taking in the sense here of the solute, and total number of moles you are supposed to find out of all the components. So now fraction of any of the component, by finding one of the components, if you are finding solute, in the sense solvent also should be found. So you can go with this method, or else you can go with another method. So that says, so if you are finding with one method, another method, in the sense if you want to find mole fraction of B, you can go with this, or you can go with this. In a sense, we can say sum of all the mole fraction is unity. Sum of all the mole fraction is nothing but XA plus XB is equal to 1. Okay. So according to the sentence, sum of all the mole fraction, because if when you are going with the number of components when it is present, you are going to take summation of it. So because of that reason, you will get unity over there. So if you want to write, you can write in this form also, XA plus XB is equal to 1. So if you have already found XA, you want to find out XB. So that you can write the equation as XB is equal to 1 minus XA. So as I said, when calculation form will be asked, if you find this one first, to find out XB, either you can apply this formula or you can go with this formula, XB is equal to 1 minus XA, so that you will get the same answer. So that is regarding mole fraction. So we just go with the problem. The first problem, it goes like, calculate the mole fraction of ethylene glycol. Ethylene glycol formula is C2H6O2 in a solution having 20% of ethylene glycol by mass. You know, 20% of ethylene glycol, in the sense what? The 20 gram of ethylene glycol is present, right? So 20 gram of ethylene glycol is present in 80 gram of water, so that you will get 100 gram of solution. So now we'll just solve with the formula. So according to this, you want to find out calculate the mole fraction of ethylene glycol. So you want to find out mole fraction of ethylene glycol, C2H6O2. What is the formula? It comes as number of moles of ethylene glycol divided by total number of moles, that is nothing but C2H6O2 plus number of moles of water also, because solute as well as solvent both should come. Okay. So now, whether they have given number of mole in question, they did not give number of mole. Instead of that, they just gave the percentage. By using percentage, you can find out what is the mass. So you know what is meant by N. So what is meant by N? N represent mass by molar mass, right? Okay. So you can represent as W by M also, small m by m also you can represent. So N represent mass by molar mass. Now just find out first molar mass, in the sense number of particles of ethylene glycol as well as number of particles of water also. Okay. So that this will help you with the substitution. So for this, find out first number of moles of ethylene glycol, C2H6O2. Okay. So that is mass by molar mass. So what is the mass of ethylene glycol is present? So that is 20 gram. W by M, right? So W is 20 gram divided by what is the molar mass of ethylene glycol? How to find out molar mass? Carbon atomic mass 16, or if you want here to write 12 into 2 plus hydrogen is 1 into 6 hydrogen you are having. Oxygen mass is 16 into 2. So total 62. So that substitute molar mass of ethylene glycol is 62. So answer you will get as 0.322 mole. Okay. Number of moles of ethylene glycol you got. In the same way, just find out the number of moles of water also. So it comes as number of moles of water is equal to mass by molar mass, in the sense W by M. So what is the mass of water? That is 80 grams. Solvent is present in 80 grams divided by molar mass of water is nothing but hydrogen 1 into 2 plus 16 oxygen. So total 18, right? So it comes as 4.44 mole. So number of moles of water also we know, number of mole of ethylene glycol also we got. So that substitute, direct substitution. So it got it as mole fraction of ethylene glycol is equal to number of mole of ethylene glycol, that is 0.322, divided by number of mole of ethylene glycol plus number of mole of water, that is 4.44. So that you will get 0.068. So your mole fraction doesn't have any unit. So one you will have got mole fraction of ethylene glycol is 0.068. Now mole fraction of water you need to find. You can go with this formula, Nb divided by Na plus Nb, or else you can go with this formula also, where it represents Xb is equal to mole fraction of water is equal to 1 minus Xa is nothing but mole fraction of ethylene glycol. Okay, so this substitute 1 minus 0.068 is equal to, so how much you will get? Almost 0.932 you will get as an answer. Okay, just check with the problem. Okay, either you can go with this formula or substitute with this formula and just check, you will get the same answer. So this will be the mole fraction of water as well as ethylene glycol. So remember, when it will be asked for 3 marks, they will never give number of moles directly, so that they will just give either in terms of percentage or they will give in terms of gram. Okay, so direct substitution to the formula by finding this. Okay, substitute and you will get the mole fraction of both. If there are, see in question they have asked to calculate the mole fraction of only the ethylene glycol, but you have to calculate the mole fraction of water also. So both here you are supposed to find it out. So I'll just repeat again. So mole fraction is nothing but which will be represented in terms of small x, and it will be, you are going to find mole fraction with the formula. So that goes like number of moles of particular component. That component it goes with this. Okay, so mole fraction with what you want to find out. So that particular component number of moles you have to find out, divided by total number of moles of all the components, because you are having solute and solvent both, in the sense A as well as B is present. So both the component number of moles you need to find out. Okay, so that you have to find it out here. Total number of moles of all the components you are supposed to find, so that when you do division you will get X, in the sense mole fraction you are going to get. So now when you are finding mole fraction, if you are finding for A, so that comes as mole fraction of A. If you are finding for B, in the sense mole fraction of B, it comes based on the problem. Whatever the compound they will ask, based on that this will be explained. So now if you find out the mole fraction of A, in the sense X of A, if you want to find out, so that comes as Na, so that is number of moles of particular compound, that is A, divided by total number of A as well as, in the sense number of moles of A as well as B. In the same way it goes with Xb also. So according to the concept, sum of all the mole fraction is unity. Unity is nothing but it goes with 1. Why it goes? As I said, generally when you are representing a mole fraction, when you are writing for number of particles. Okay. For example, now you want to find out mole fraction of ith particle. So by then you can write the number of moles of ith particle divided by, so number of moles, total number of moles of all the components, right? So it comes as N1 plus N2 plus N3. So it will continue based on the components whatever you will use. So that comes till Ni. Okay, so it comes till Ni, because you want to find out this, right? So it comes till Ni. So this you can also write it as mole fraction of ith component. So it goes like Ni divided by summation of Ni. Okay, so this you are going to take in terms of summation. So summation of Ni, so that you can write this equation. So this is equal to 1. The mole fraction, sum of all the mole fraction you are taking, so that is equal to 1 unity. Okay, so that reason you are going to write Xa plus Xb is equal to 1. So when you are finding out the mole fraction of another component, you can write in this form also. So Xb is equal to 1 minus of Xa. So when you will find the mole fraction of this Xa, so direct substitution to here. So as I said, directly they will never give you the components, in the sense number of moles. They can ask you to find out by giving percentage or by milligram. Okay, just find out number of moles is equal to mass by molar mass. Substitute so that you will get the answer.